I might as well get right into the video. I have the chat hidden. Okay, you guys are free to stop by and say hi. I'm just kind of parked randomly somewhere right now. It's not even 10 o'clock yet in the morning. I've been up since like 4, and I've had a lot of massive downloads, guys. And probably later on in the video, what I'll do is just drive around and have a good day for once. Because quite frankly, like, a lot has changed. My perspective on a lot of things has changed, you all. And honestly speaking, like, this may be a rant video, okay? So little disclaimer, if you don't like rant videos, then this video is not for you, okay? Because in this video, what I'm basically going to be doing is ranting, okay? Ranting about 2020, ranting about the state of our existence. And, you know, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things, guys, that I feel are on my heart, okay? So this may not be the video that you're used to on my channel, but you know what? It's going to be up here for forever and a day. You know, as long as YouTube exists, this video will be forever ingrained in YouTube history. And, you know, if anybody wants to know, you know, how 2020 was, all they gotta do is watch my video and they'll understand, okay? So, you know, thank you all for the support. Thank you all for, you know, being a part of my channel for so long. And honestly, you know, I'm just gonna speak from my heart, okay? So there could be some cursing in this video. I just want to let you know from now, okay? There could be some cursing, there could be some unusual topics that, you know, you're not expecting from based upon the title of the video, but it is what it is, okay? It is what it is. So actually, I want to curse a lot, but I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum because, you know, not everyone likes cursing, and I personally don't want to be cursing as much, but like the energy that I'm in and just the way the world is right now with this pandemic and the way 2020 has been is just so eye-opening to me. And I truly don't even know how to be kind. So what I'm going to say first and foremost is I must have really messed up. Like, whatever I was doing as a soul, as a vessel before I came on this planet, like, I obviously messed up, you all. Like, it's obvious, you know, like, I messed up because to be living to be living in such a time as this feels like a curse. You know, it feels like of all the years that I could be on this planet and of this age and just existing and living and trying to, you know, achieve some kind of dream and, you know, have fun and explore life and just breathe. And then to totally get slapped in the face, you know, and maybe you all feel the same way and maybe you don't, okay? But right now, it's so clear to me, you know, like, everything is so clear to me. It's a game, you know, like, whoever created this, the V word, I'm not going to say it fully on camera because obviously none of us can, okay, with the pandemic and such, but whoever created the V word obviously knew what they were doing because all hell has broken loose, okay? Like, all hell has broken loose in perfect fashion. And it's just so crazy to me. Like, it's genuinely so crazy how one thing has snowballed into another thing. And life as we know it is over, is gone, okay? Like, nothing is ever gonna be the same. And I just want to note real quick that multi-millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires have become even richer, okay? And by the way, guys, I don't have like an extra microphone on my phone, so just wear your headphones if anything, because like I didn't buy that yet for my iPhone. I just got my new iPhone 11, so down the road I'm gonna be trying to look for a good microphone to vlog with on my iPhone, but it is what it is for now. Okay, we'll deal with it. So long story short, I just want people to kind of like open their mind a little bit. Like, the rich have become even richer. Like, people that were millionaires and oh, I got a notification, sorry. People that were millionaires, or forget that, like a hundred, you know, they have like 100+ million to their name, basically. Like, their wealth has quadrupled, okay, because of the pandemic. Like, let that sink in. And while you and I and other people go out here every single day at obscure hours of the day, toiling away for minimum wage or above minimum wage, whatever, like, it's still not enough, okay? Like, it doesn't matter if you're getting paid $20 an hour or $7.50 an hour. Like, the reality is that corporation, that business is using your talent, using your energy to make them rich. And that's how it's always been. Like, I have been in jobs where it's been like here, like, you know, high school, when you have like no certifications, like, you know, you hardly have like any real skills, right? And you go out in the workforce from, I mean, I worked from like before 16 for my parents, but I officially worked from like 16, okay? I got my license at 16. I started working at 16. Like, I hit the ground running, basically. Like, there was no time to spare. So I've been working from really 13, but really 16 properly for another, you know, for a corporation, for a company. And let me tell you, like, I have worked my way up, you know, to get paid more. And, you know, I'm in college and all that. It makes literally no difference. And the reason why it makes no difference, and what I've noticed on a bigger scale, and the reason why it makes no difference, is because if somebody has connections, or there's like a child of that owner of that business, or like there's people that know each other, whatever the case may be, like, they can take people out and put other people in, and you'll be surprised. Like, a lot of people in this country, especially in America, like, have really no real skills or qualifications for the jobs they have, but because they have like the right, you know, requirements, or they have the right look, or they know people, like, they slide their way in like it's nobody's business, and life is easy for them. You know, life is good. You know, why do you think that all these celebrity kids, you know, have never lifted a finger in their life? Why? Because their mother or father or both have set the tone. You know what I'm saying? And especially if that celebrity has come from humble beginnings and then became a multimillionaire, and then they teach their kids how they made their wealth, or they sustain their wealth, like, that's how it's always gonna be. So the sad reality that I realize wholeheartedly is that if you don't have your own business, if you don't have a certain connection, if you have not elevated yourself or plugged into the system, which is, i.e., social media, or being a personality, or being a model, or the typical internet sensation norm, you're gonna have problems. Like, going to 2021 is gonna be like a black episode, like a Black Mirror episode, if that's how you say it right. Like, there's like that show where they show like all these like quirky things of the future, and how, like, you know, certain cameras can pick up your credit score, and can pick up, you know, your social media following, and all this stuff. Like, that's literally how it's gonna be. Like, we're gonna get to a point in society, I really feel this, where that's gonna be like your credit, like what you, like, the status you have, or who you know, is going to give you a lot more of an advantage than a degree per se, or you know, working in this job for 5 years, 7 years, and trying to become a manager, trying to become like a boss figure for some other person's dream. Because the reality is that if you're working for a company that is not tied to your ideals or who you are, you're feeding into their dream. You're feeding their beast. Like, that's the reality. Like, whether you work for a retail store, tech store, like, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're working for somebody else and hopefully you're happy. Like, hopefully you're happy. At the minimum, you're comfortable, right? But if you're not even comfortable or happy and you have like no desire to even go to that job or to be a part of that company's mission, like, you've just wasted your life. So I think we all need to let that sink in. Like, as long as you are living for somebody else's expectation, or as long as you're trying to feed somebody else's dream and you have no attachment to that, you're like basically a slave. Like, you're a slave. You're a slave. And that's their whole plan, Like, it's clear to me, like, whoever is really in control of this world and like really, pulling the strings here, like, this is their plan all along, is to destabilize society and citizens in society so much to the point where they have no rights. They have no real freedom, like, they don't have their own mind, like this whole thing about, going to, middle school, high school, at least in America, middle school, high school, going to college, and then, trying to get into some Ivy League college or some big name college, and, going into $100,000 in debt to prove something, when at the end of the day, you've not learned anything. You've got a piece of paper, and that's what makes you successful. And maybe I'm just the odd duck out, maybe I'm just not of this world. Maybe I'm just, like, I'm very well aware, of the games. I just feel like I'm so above this world. Like, really, like, I feel like this world in so many ways is just so mediocre, and and the ideals that and the ways of life that we're living is so mediocre. You know what I'm saying? And like, if there was any proof, like any real proof that there was life on other planets, I'm pretty sure that this planet is at the bottom. I'm pretty certain, because the way we live makes no sense to me. Like, the way our governments treat us makes no sense to me. We're basically all controlled. You know what I'm saying? And it's to the point now where, the everyday human is working, side hustles, more than their main hustles, not just putting food on the table. Like, people are having to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And then you have certain political figures from certain political parties who look down on that. They say, well, you obviously are not this, or you're not that, because if you have to work 3 jobs to have a comfortable life, then you must be a peasant, basically, is what they're saying. While they take your Social Security, they take away good jobs, they eliminate certain jobs to give to technology, to give to robots, to give to iPhones, for God's sake. Like, they destroy everything, and then they turn back around and say, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault why you're broke. It's your fault why you're poor. It's your fault why you're not rich. When, to some degree, that has some weight, but not entirely. Because you can have the smartest entrepreneur, you can have the most hardworking, straight A student, and that still guarantees nothing. And I know that teachers watching and people who are very traditional are not going to like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. Like, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. There's people out here who have straight A's, and their wages, their salary has not moved. Like, nothing has changed. Doesn't matter how hard they work, like, somebody else can come right in, take their job, destroy the company or eliminate that position. Like, anybody can do anything. Like, it's not guaranteed. It never has been guaranteed. It never will be guaranteed. And I feel bad. Like, I genuinely feel bad for people who have been sold that bedrock of lies, which is to try to get into some big university, spend all this money, right? Spend all this money, and they're getting the same kind of jobs as people who went to other universities who didn't splash all that money, who didn't have to sacrifice all their youth to be in a book and be enslaved and be brainwashed with false information and false facts. Like, it's very sad, you know what I'm saying? And so in this video, I'm not going to be nice, like in this video, I'm not going to sugarcoat it because it's the truth. Like, according to me and what I've experienced, like, this is let me fix that. This is my truth, right? This is what I've realized about the world we live in. This is what I've been experiencing for the longest while now. And it's disgusting, it's completely disgusting. And the fact that this pandemic has just proved this, to me, it's mind-blowing. To me, it's mind-blowing. It's like, it almost feels like if you were not born with that privilege, or you were not born in a position where you are able to just spend, whatever you want and help whoever you want, it's like you're living a life that's just miserable. And that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be honest, like, with me having this YouTube channel, like, I'm just going to keep it all the way 100. Like, with me having this YouTube channel and being in college, like, for certain periods of time, there's some times where, like, I've literally sat back and, like, I wish I've had more time to really ponder upon everything that's been going down. But I could tell you guys right now, like, I was the person, and I'm not, I'm just take it for face value, right? Like, I'm the person who would open and close, minimum wage, like nothing special, like open and close, working like 2-3 jobs, while in college full time, trying to just survive, keep my head above water, no loans, no nothing, just busting my ass. And I sit back and I've seen myself be in positions at certain times, with YouTube, being able to just take a breather, like actually not have to do all that. And I sit back and I'm like, wow, like, this is really some BS. Like, I can't even imagine that life. Like, I can't even imagine, like, what I was doing, like, for that little pay. And then on top of that, the government takes out money. Okay, you're not even getting your whole paycheck. Like, Uncle Sam comes and collects, but yet the top 1 to 5% don't pay taxes, people. We've seen this whole thing go down the whole year. Okay, they don't contribute to the military. They don't contribute to the homeless or the veterans like they say they do. Okay, the charities that the 1 to 5% pick, right, is to put it right back in their pockets. Like, they will purposely choose charities that they're tied to. So it's like a loophole. They're not really giving money to anybody that's underprivileged or poor or middle class. Like, they're not giving a dime really to anything. Like, they're just living off the backs of everybody else, like usual. Okay, so it's like, where do we go from here? Like, as human beings, as a society, I'm like, where do we go from here? Because the rich have gotten richer, and the poor have gotten poorer. And, there's certain countries where they've helped their people with stimulus checks and all types of stuff like that. And like America, as people, I'm sure, across the pond have seen, in America, nothing. We basically got nothing. People out here have worked under the worst conditions known to man. The body counts, the death toll, allegedly, right, is rising. Okay, people are dropping like flies. And the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And this is just what I'm seeing. And it's like, do I regret going to college? On a personal note, like, do I regret going to college? I would say yes and no. I would mainly say yes. To be honest with you, I would mainly say yes, but I would also say no, because going through the system, busting my ass, to the car that I had, like the car that I had at the time, way back when, before the pandemic, like before that, like even before that, like just the life I was living, like the way, like everything, like I can't even put it into words, like how degrading it is. It's degrading. And this should have never have happened, like whether this is all real or not, what's very clear to me is that they're suppressing us. They're trying to have us like cattle, the highest bidder, like there's no real freedom, there's not really that freedom, because what freedom really is being able to say, you know what, I want to have time with my children, right? Like having real freedom means I can be at home with my children and I don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, to work for someone else. Like that's what freedom is, being able to be free. Okay. That's how I see it. Like freedom is being able to do things on your own terms. No one's telling you what to do. And the 99.9% of the world, okay, does not live like that, does not live in true freedom and flexibility. So you have to wonder, like, why are we here? Why are we on this planet? What are we here to really experience if it's just struggle, breaking our ass for shit pay, low quality food? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And in America, we may have it bad, and other people in other parts of the world may not understand what I'm saying, and I understand that. Humbly, I understand that. But let me say something, like the way the world is makes no sense to me. Like, why don't we have open lands full of vegetables and fruits? Why don't we have local places where people can go and get food? Why is water not free? Why do people pay for water? Like, it's from the earth, the earth gave us this water. The earth gave us this land. And it just makes no sense. So when you look at the fact that 1 to 5% of people are living the dream, their dream house, their dream car, their dream spouse, and then you look at the rest of the population, like if you have a heart, if you actually have a beating heart, you'll think to yourself, something's not right here. The fact that we still have homelessness in America. America is heralded, the richest place, the richest country on the planet. That's a mystery to me. It's a mystery, because most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, I've actually researched this. Like, they said that over 60% of Americans will retire, if they even get to retire, with less than $2,000 to their name. Let that sink in. Less than $2,000. So it's not making any sense to me. And they're trying to tell me that a multi-millionaire, trillionaire, billionaire, okay, could not solve world hunger by now? Like, you mean to tell me that the likes of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, you mean to tell me that these billionaires could not solve world hunger by now? Is that what you're genuinely trying to tell me? Like, no. No. Just no. Like, if these were good people, if these were actually good people, like, this would not even be an issue. Because let me tell you, like, if I mean, not millionaire, but if I was a billionaire, for God's sake, like, I'm gonna have land, I'm gonna have food, I'm gonna have certain houses that are rent free. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my investments, my other businesses, you know, with good ethical practicum, like, tied to humanitarian work, like, that's very easy to accomplish. And the fact that we're in 2020 going to 2021 and these billionaires, trillionaires, I'm confused. Like, something's wrong. Okay. And maybe I'm just rambling, and that's okay, because that's what this video is for. This video is for me to recap 2020. This video is for me to express my concerns, you know, and this video is for me to express what's really weighing heavily on me right now, you know. And if people don't want to hear this, then, you know, that's fine. But this video had to be made. Like, I had to make this video because something's not right. And whether 2020 is cursed or not, I really don't know. I feel like this year is cursed. I'm not sure exactly what's gone awry here. I'm really not understanding it, but it don't look good. You know, it don't look good. And, you know, there was times where I have genuinely thanked my lucky stars. Like, there's been times where I have thanked God that I had some kind of cushion or some kind of blessing or some kind of grace. Because there is people out here who are homeless. And by the way, not that my little work matters, but by the way, since the year has started, like, especially like with the amount of things I've seen, like, if I have food in my car, if I have money to give someone, like, I will give it out of the abundance of my heart. Not to say that I'm in a better position than a lot of these people, but, like, I have taken it upon myself sometimes to, like, buy a slice of pizza or give someone a Nutri-Grain bar or some kind of healthy nutritional artifact of food. You know, if I have it, I will give it, you know, because it's rough out here. You know, it's really rough out here. And not that I have anything to really give per se, because hello, but it's just like the simple idea of, like, you know what, like, if I see someone, you know, on the road asking for money, asking for food, asking for help, and I have like an extra water bottle, or I have like $10 or $20 or $30 in my wallet, and I feel led to give it, I will give it. Because they're not going to help us. Like, I just want people to, like, you know, I don't know, like, they're not going to help us. They haven't been helping us. And people look at America and they have every right. You know, people that don't live in America, who trash America, have every right, because we're supposed to be the richest country in the world, and we're the poorest in mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, the richest in the world, but the poorest in spirit. You know, next to other places, like, you know, like places in Asia and whatever, like, you know, just complete slave labor, like, no respect for human beings, no respect for children, mothers, women, the abuse, the discrimination, the sexism, the low pay, like, No regard for what people should really have regard for. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And so it's like, if I can go out of my way to go to a restaurant or to go home and give someone food, then why can't the multi-billionaires and trillionaires? Why can't they? You know, why can't they break their back and break $1 million or $1,000 to give in person? Like, forget all that charity shit, 'cause that charity shit's a scam, okay? It's a tax write-off, all right? It's a tax write-off. What a lot of them do is tax write-offs, okay? They're not trying to help anyone. So what I'm saying is, why can't they give this money in person? Why do they have to just give it through some secret charity and get their tax write-off? Like, why can't they be human? Why aren't they human beings? Why are they not out here in the streets giving money? Like, really, like, why? Like, what are you going to do with all that money is my question. Like, if you're a billionaire, what are you going to do with all that money? Like, what are you going to, like, if you die tomorrow and you have $40 billion in your bank account, where the hell is that money going to go? Besides your family and your kids and people who you put on your will, like, you're never going to touch $1 billion cash. That's impossible. I don't think there's even one person on this planet who's counted $1 billion in cash, like sitting down, counting tens, 20. Nobody's done that. So what I'm saying is, why not? You know, why not? Why not? Like, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat if I was a billionaire. I really would. I would take out 20 million, if not more, and drive around in my car, okay, and ask people, you know, can you pay your rent? You know, how are you eating? You know, how is your do you work out? You know, do you have money for equipment? Do you have money for fresh food, fresh water? Like, how do you feel when you get up in the morning? You know, just a thought, like, human to human contact. Like, what do you do? You know, what are your dreams? Before you leave this planet, what would you like to accomplish in your life? You know, and no one's really doing that. You know, even the millionaires, like, they're not doing that outreach. They're not doing that encouragement because they want to keep their spot. What they want to do is solidify their fame or their fortune and say, fuck the rest. That's basically what they want to do. Okay? They don't want to give anybody any kind of real knowledge to open their brain. They don't want to give anybody any kind of inside trader secrets or none of that stuff. Investment, none of that. Because they know that if they do that, the world's never going to be the same. They know that. You know, parents are going to wake up and stop putting their kids through the system, wasting their time, wasting their youth. Like, your youth is so important. Like, it's so important because when you're young, like, as young as possible, right? Like, when you're young, your mind is like a sponge, and any kind of ambition or any kind of idea you have, you're more than likely to do with the right backing, with the right, you know, blessing or alignment. You know, you're more willing to jump. But it's like, naturally, the older you get, you know, if you have kids, you have responsibilities, you don't have that freedom. You know, you don't really have that privilege of saying, okay, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to pursue this and I'm going to do this. I'm going to, like, you don't have that ability. You know, you just don't, because time becomes, you know, the days become shorter and things get repetitive, and then you have other mouths to feed, and it's pretty much game over, you know. And to people who do get older and they do accomplish their dreams, it's because they worked bloody hard for it. The real ones who actually deserve their fame and their fortune, like, it's because they've taken a risk. But for most people, that doesn't happen. For most people, it doesn't happen. Obviously, it doesn't. Clearly, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And so I've always seen it as a red flag, you know? I've always seen the system having young people give all their energy to a book or a certain class as some kind of scam, because in your youth, that's when you're supposed to be expanding yourself, you know, using all your energy to work upon what you want to work upon. But if you give all your years to a system or to a class or a teacher or whatever the hell they want you to believe, your goals, your dreams go out the door. Unless you want to be a doctor or you want to be in the medical field or you want to be like you want to have a typical 9-to-5 job, that's well and good. But if you're somebody who doesn't want to be those typical things and you have a different perspective on life and you're creative, especially if you're creative, they've just robbed you of your best years. They've just basically robbed you cold blind. And that's why when I was in college, I had to do double time. You know, I had to work that regular job and I had to stay up until 6 o'clock in the morning, uploading videos, researching different ideas, investing my money into certain books to expand my mind. They weren't going to tell me to do that, you know? They weren't going to sit me down and say, hey, Simone, you know, you need to read this book. You need to study the law of attraction. You know, they're not teaching the law of attraction or manifestation techniques in college, let alone high school. In fact, they're not even teaching people how to have a savings account. Okay? They're not even teaching us how to have to get a stock, to invest money. They don't teach you anything that's of real value. But yet, most parents put their kids in that system because they don't think there's anything better. Their parents have a limited idea, and then therefore their kids have a limited idea, and the cycle continues on and on and on and on. The rat race. The rat race, you know? That's all it is. Because their parents didn't achieve it, so they didn't achieve it, and here we go, and here we go, and here we go. And so, like myself and other people, you know, who did take a risk, who did work super hard, who have tried to just live their life, regardless of their upbringing, regardless of what society told them, they develop a different point of view. Naturally, you will develop a different point of view when you've been there and you've done that. You know, and then you turn back around and you could tell your family, you could tell your neighbors, you could tell, you know, if you're a mentor, you could tell people like, hey, this was crap, right? This is nothing, you know? And the truth of the matter is a lot of things out here are not hitting on nothing. Like, majority of things out here are hitting on nothing. It's not given nothing. It's just a waste of time, a waste of money. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I'm not anti-college because I'm in college, I've done college, I'm about to graduate. But what I'm saying is there's got to be a better way. There's got to be an alternative, because that's not the end all be end all, okay? And it's not every single person's fantasy to go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton. You know, that wasn't my fantasy, and maybe it wasn't yours, or maybe it was, okay? But that's just so typical. It's typical, it's tacky. Like, that's not for everybody. And even if you went on a full ride or a partial ride, what have you learned there that you couldn't learn by yourself in your own bedroom or your local library or on YouTube? Like, there's so much information on YouTube that it's comical. Like, I'll put it this way. I have learned more by researching certain topics and emailing certain people and putting myself out here more than I could have ever have learned from so-called college. College didn't give me this YouTube channel. Okay? You know, college did not give me this YouTube channel. College did not teach me how to, none of that. Okay? Nothing. They didn't teach me how to, basically nothing. Okay? And even if you're taking business classes, those business classes, the information they give you is so limited that you're wasting your money. You're wasting your time. Like, literally, you're wasting your money. So, a lot of things in life are scams. You know, a lot of things in life are scams. And I'm just going to put it that way. You know what I'm saying? It's a scam. It's a scam. And I just don't understand why the 99.9% of us are in this position when we know better. You know, now we know better. Now we know that there's more things out here, you know, to do, to explore, to be. You know, we know better now. You know, we should know better. And yet here we are, you know, yet here we are. And I have learned more, and it may sound bad. It may sound really, really bad, but I have learned more by myself than being in college per se. Like, I have learned more by staying up all night, researching, buying certain books, doing certain meditations to rewire my brain to take out those old beliefs, the limiting blocks that they put in us as children. Okay, they brainwash us and they condition us as children. I have still working incredibly hard to remove those blocks from my mind. And it's really hard, especially when the bills are due and people are counting on you, and you want to have a house, you want to have a certain kind of car, you want to have a certain kind of comfortability. The pressure mounts. The pressure continues to mount, you know, and it pisses me off. The truth is, it pisses me off. And I got to that point from like 2 weeks ago where I was like, this is garbage. And I know I may sound crazy right now, but I was like, this is some bullshit. I have learned more. I have achieved more. I have met better people, quality people, you know, from YouTube, on YouTube, through seminars, through the law of attraction. Like, make no mistake, I have manifested. I'm telling you guys, I have manifested certain people into my life with the law of attraction. I have manifested coming across strangers who think like me. And then they refer me to a certain book, or we discuss, you know, the law of attraction. You know, I hear stories about people winning the lottery, manifesting the lottery. Like, I have grown more as a human being than college could ever fucking give me. And I'm not trying to curse, but if I could burn my degree, I would. And I'm not saying my degree is not worthless, but I mean, really, like, I have learned more about money management off of YouTube than in a classroom. I've taken statistics, okay? Let's do a little recap. Like, I've taken accounting. Let me put this into perspective. I've taken accounting classes. I've taken statistics, algebra, geometry, okay? Marketing. My degree I've done all that, okay? And I still feel like I've learned more from word of mouth, going out here, everyday life, going to certain events, networking on social media. Like, I have learned more about myself and about the world than a classroom could ever give me, And quite frankly, there's been times where I feel like I've made more money by myself than even at a 9-to-5 job. Like, when I was giving it my all, I was making more money than a retail job. Slashing my wages, slashing my pay packet, taking out like 30% of my paycheck. No holidays, no breaks, no nothing. And when that happened to me, I'm giving you guys like mics. Like, when that happened to me, when I looked at my paycheck that I earned from YouTube, that was like, I'm not gonna go into specifics, obviously, but when I compared and contrast my life, I was like, this is a whole joke, like, this is a joke. I could do open, close on the trot, no breaks, clock in, clock out, and I still would not make the same money that I would make if I was putting my all into my craft, into my spiritual gifts on this platform. And that's crazy to me. And it makes me just want to cry, because why is it like that? Why is it like that? So the whole time, since I had this channel and the real world, my personal life, going out here, I'm living in two different worlds, because I'm like, on one end, I see the potential. I know what it should be, but I'm still faced with the constraints of the system and the reality of the world we live in. And how unfair it is, how completely unfair this world is. This world is very unfair, guys. Very unfair. There's a lot of talented people out here. Maybe you're one of them. There's a lot of talented people out here who are excellent at what they do, okay? And never break through, And I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But to think that there is 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds who are younger than me, younger than you, maybe even, and don't even have a degree, okay? They have 0 degrees, making 6 figures a year, okay? But they don't want people to know this. They don't want anyone to question this. They don't want anyone to say, how come a 19-year-old can create their own app, can make their own channel, can make their own product, and outrun every 60-year-old, 30-year-old, 25-year-old, can outrun everybody, run amok, become a millionaire overnight. Why are they not teaching this? Why are they not in schools teaching people how to be self-sufficient? Why do they want people depending upon a 9-to-5 paycheck is my question. Why do they want people to be in a continuous cycle of never getting ahead? Everybody should get ahead. Everybody has the opportunity to get ahead for the most part, but not really. But, If you have it, you have it. You know, if you're in a certain part of the world where you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously it's harder, you know, duh. But I'm just saying, like, why are they not wanting people to be in tune? Because when you're in tune, you're not going to succumb to this. You're not going to accept this. Like, the idea of me going into any job that gives me no purpose makes me feel physically sick. Like, it makes me feel sick. Like, continuing this, like, it makes me feel like this is not life. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is not life to me. To me, it's not life. It's not a life worth living for me. Because it's like, when do you ever get a break? When do you ever get to be yourself? You know, you're just a shadow of being an employee. You know what I'm saying? I've been there. I've done that. Like, I'm speaking from experience. You know, certain internships pay zero. Like, you go for an internship. I mean, there was one time where I was looking at these certain jobs, right? And certain jobs were requiring a master's degree. And they were, I mean, it's hard to even say this out loud, but they were paying at base salary $15.26 an hour. You heard that correct. $15.26 an hour with a master's degree. Okay. And, you know, because I went to college, I mean, you know, and so you have to look at these things. You have to, like, get yourself ready to be a great employee, right? And then I sit there and I'm like, no offense, but I've made more than that in 30 minutes. Like, with or without YouTube. Like, and this is what they think that is high pay. Like, they really think that even $25 an hour is superb. Like, it's baffling, you know. It's really confusing. And I had a feeling, you know, I had this feeling that I wanted to, like, literally email, you know, the employer and be like, am I seeing this? Is my eyes not playing a game on me? Like, are you really asking for a master's degree and 6 years of experience for $15.26 an hour? Like, are you being, like, for real right now? Like, a master's? A master's degree that costs money. Like, it's not free. Like, to get a master's degree is not free unless your mommy and daddy gave you a handout and paid for it. No offense, but, like, unless your mommy and daddy paid for your degree, then it's not free. It's not free. Like, your time, your energy, like, if you've earned it, if you've earned that bachelor's degree, if you've earned that master's degree, there's been some sacrifice behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been some, I don't care what color you are, I don't care what sexual, I don't care what gender, like, there's been sacrifice behind that. If you've earned that, you didn't cheat, you didn't pay for an essay, you didn't pay for, you know, like if you've actually, like, done like legit study, and that's what they're offering human beings, like, it's degrading. And I'm in the same position. Like, even though I'm on YouTube, like, I'm still in the same boat. Like, this is just life, okay? You know, it's you know, I never put all your eggs in one basket, right? So even though I love what I do with you all on YouTube, like, you can't put all your eggs in one basket either, right? So I'm just saying that it's things like that that make me just feel brain dead. Like, how can you be serious? How can you take that seriously? I can't, I don't know if it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But if you've gotten a degree in business, or, you know, communications, or maybe even, you know, political science, or any kind of management, like that should not be the base pay, especially medical, or, you know, legal, paralegal, whatever. Like that should not be what is considered like a great pay, because it's not. Like there was actually a statistic that I in an article I was reading where that said that most people can't even afford a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in America. And I know people outside of America are like, "Oh, America." So no, it's really not hitting on nothing. Like they've proven this. They've showed salaries. They've showed the taxes as salary. They've actually like broken this down. And they say that most people can't even afford that. Okay? So you have to wonder, like, who's winning here? Who's benefiting from your hard work, my hard work? Like, who's really benefiting from this? Right? Like, who's benefiting from these wages? And it's not a political party thing. It's just a common sense thing. Like, who's benefiting? You know? And I'm the kind of person where I'm like, if I'm not benefiting, if I am not, if it's not benefiting me, then why am I doing it? And that goes for a friendship, a relationship, a job. Like, if I am not growing as an individual, if I'm not feeling secure, then why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why am I participating in the nonsense? And that's why I feel so strongly about people finding alternative ways, because I've seen it play out. I know people, no names. I'm not saying, I know people who have bought into that idea of college, right? And, you know, the typical success. And they're like $500,000 in debt. Okay. They're struggling to find a job. You know, they've lost their house. They've lost their dignity, especially medical students. I don't think that people talk about it enough, especially people who go to medical school, or they transfer, you know, to go to a certain, you know, a specialized medical school, especially those folks. Like they're getting kicked up the ass. And that's why every single day I thank God. I literally thank God that I never had the desire to be in the medical field, because the fees, the time frame, the pressure they put on those students, I've witnessed firsthand. Like, you're stuck. Like, you are fucked. If you don't have a handout, if you don't have rich parents, and you're taking on all that debt by yourself in your name, I don't know how you sleep at night. I don't know how you sleep at night. I really don't know. I really don't know. So what I'm trying to say is, if I had the magic key to make majority of our problems disappear, I would share it. You know, like, I am not a selfish person. I'd be on my channel saying, listen, I did this technique. Now I'm at this position in my life, and let me help you. Like, I could do that one day. If I am able to continue on this path, like, I would totally do that, because something's wrong here. You know, like, something's just wrong with the way things are. And I know that. I feel that right here in my heart. I know that for a fact. And I get up in the morning and I'm pissed off and I'm frustrated and I'm fed up. I'm fed up. And so what comes to mind is, I saw this quote on social media. Luckily, there's actually upsides to social media, not all the time, but when it comes to knowledge, it's definitely an upside. There was a quote that I saw on social media that totally just opened up Pandora's box for me. And what the quote said was, there's a reason why. Now this may rub people the wrong way, but I don't care. Okay. You know, it said this, right? It said there's a reason why you don't have multi-millionaires, self-made millionaires in college teaching students. You never will find a millionaire in a school, in a classroom, teaching a student. You won't find it. And that's why it's a scam. Because common sense would say, if I want a certain amount of knowledge, I'm going to go to the person who has the knowledge. I'm going to hook up with this person, which means hook up in terms of network, draw inspiration, right? Follow what they do, take inspiration, take information, right? From that person or that whatever, that expression, and I'm going to apply it to my own life. That's what common sense would say. And yet, in America, you're never going to find most, if not 99.9%, 99.9, no, 99.8. I'm going to give a little bit of leisure, okay? 99.8. You're never going to find a millionaire teaching in a classroom. The truth hurts. You know, the truth hurts. I would respect the system a lot more if they showed me somebody who was working a 9 to 5, who went from a 9 to 5 into being a self-made multimillionaire, and then was teaching what they want to teach because they love to teach it, and at the same time giving common sense advice, life advice, financial management advice, financial literacy advice. That would impress me a lot more than having someone sit in front of a classroom and say, turn to page 22. And, oh, you have a quiz due next week. Like, that doesn't impress me, okay? Like, it doesn't impress me, you know? And once upon a time, this whole college thing, like, it you know, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I wasn't this aware of myself. I didn't know nothing about the law of attraction. I didn't have all this information. I didn't have it, because if I hadn't, I probably wouldn't have went. Truth be told. But that used to impress me. Like, oh, they went to Harvard. Oh, Harvard. And now I'm like, so what? Like, you went to Harvard? Okay. So how much are you making a year now? What's your goal in life? How are you helping other people? Like, if you're not doing none of that, you don't impress me. Like, you're not impressing nobody. Like, that don't impress me. Especially if you took out a huge loan to go to Harvard. Just putting it out here. You took out a $200,000 loan or plus. That's even possible. You got yourself in a whole bunch of debt, right? You have the same access, the same jobs. You didn't really, you know, like, that doesn't impress me. Okay. What impresses me, what honestly impresses me, is seeing somebody who was living life safe and was struggling like I've struggled and still, okay, and was able to go from here to here, and is helping other people, is impacting other people's lives. That impresses me way more than someone saying that I went to this university and I make $15 an hour. That doesn't impress me anymore, you know? It doesn't do anything for me, because it's like, where's your creativity? You know, where's your innovation? Where's your individuality? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? Who are you to the world? You know what I'm saying? So I believe we all have unlimited potential that is yet to be unlocked. But what concerns me is that everything is about to change. You know, I don't know if you guys can feel it. Like, I feel it, but yes, I'm hoping for the best, you know, for next year. Like, obviously, you know, clearly I'm hoping for the best for next year. But there's just this feeling in the pit of my stomach that tells me that next year is going to be even harder. You know, something in the pit of my stomach just says to me, it's going to be 10 times harder. The things that people want to achieve is going to be 10 times harder, especially if they have to close certain things down. Okay? That's what I feel. This is what I genuinely feel, you know? And it may get to a point where, you know, for example, Amazon workers, eBay workers, you know, pack shipping, all like it may get to a point where these people walk off their job because they're getting infected. Allegedly, they're getting infected. Okay. They're ending up sick. They're working in a bad condition. And chances are they're not going to want to be living like that for much longer. You know, they're not going to be wanting to do that. So I have to like sit, you know, I have to sit back and say, okay, is next year going to be better or worse? You know, because we're going to be recovering. Like what 2021 is going to be is just a recovery. We're not going to go back to 100% normalcy. You see what I'm saying? We're just going to be in recovery. We're going to have to recuperate from all the damage that 2020 just left us with. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. That hit me yesterday night. I was on Twitter and people were talking about their goals, and there was this funny thing going around about like where the money resides. There's like this little meme with the money resides and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff, like people were talking about, oh, you know, I'm not going to call next year. And it was really enticing because I was interested in this, you know, I really wanted to, you know, discuss it. You see what I'm saying? And so I paused and I'm like, hold on. Like, we're going to be in recovery. You know, God willing, things don't get even worse. You know what I'm saying? God willing, this strain of virus will disappear. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to get into the whole vaccine thing because I'm not even going to touch on that. That's somebody else's topic. But we're going to have to recover. We're going to have to, you know, they're probably going to change how we go in the store, you know, how far we all have to be walking apart. They have to make sure that the cashiers feel safe. People working in the storage, you know, section department, they feel safe. You know, they're protected. Like, that's what's important, you know? Like, to me, what's more important is people not working in conditions that are harmful to their health. But there's not much we can do. You know, we still have bills to pay. You know, we still have bills to pay. We can't stop working. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what's so torturous about all, like we can't stop. We can't stop anything. Like, we're just gonna go. Like, we're still gonna have to put pedal to the metal. You know what I'm saying? And I think I feel, if someone asks me, Simone, intuitively, what do you feel? I would say, I feel like it's going to be hard work. No, excuse me, harder. Okay? Like, I feel like it's going to be like where the grind hits the gear, you know, because people have been frustrated. You know, I've been frustrated with this year. I really have. You know, like there's been many times this year where I've been like, this is crazy. You know, like what is going on? This is insane. Okay? It's insane. And not only are we trying to push back this deadly disease, I don't want to say the other word because, you know, YouTube, but we're having to fight against robots and certain technology taking over the jobs that they do have that may not be even good, but it's something. Okay, it keeps our bills paid, right? And it's like, what is going on? You know, what is going on? So I'm concerned. I just want to be real with you all, like usual, and say I'm concerned. You know, I'm concerned for the generation behind me and behind that. I'm concerned for people who are maybe in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, they're in the high risk category. You know, I'm concerned for the 20-year-old, something like myself, the 20s, okay, early, late, or middle, and you're trying to get somewhere in life, like me, you know, trying to get on your own 2 feet, you know, own some land, own a property, own a car, start saving for retirement, have a savings account. These are all big, this is a big deal, you know, especially in America. Like if you live in America, you know the reality, or you should know the reality, that most people do not retire with any kind of real money in their bank account. They retire in poverty, basically. Okay, maybe on the outside it looks all peachy keen, but inside their wallet, their bank account is zeros. There's nothing there. And a lot of people rely on the social security. Listen, and their kids, right? Their kids have to pick up the slack. I saw an article, they were saying how even older people now, like more mature people, older is offensive, I should say mature, more mature individuals, more experienced, it should be more experienced individuals, because I think that word old is weird, in my opinion, but it makes sense, you know, are moving in with their kids. 50, 60, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, like their kids are having to pick up the slack because when they were in their prime or when they were working, they weren't saving money. There's a disconnect there. They weren't paying attention. And when they get to their years where they should be retired, they're not retiring. And if they are retiring, they're not retiring in comfort. They're retiring in, let's see how much we can scrap together. They're not retiring in a way with dignity and pride. They're retiring with debt. And that's crazy to me. And what's even more crazy is they're not even teaching this in schools. It's not just college. They're not teaching this in high schools. And oh, I forgot to add, charter, private. Give me a break. Okay? Give me a break. Like, private schools, charter schools are no different. Okay? They're not doing this either. Okay? They're not giving any kind of secret code or secret information. They're not even doing that. So what the hell are parents paying money for? Like, no, really, like if your child's school has certain extracurricular clubs and activities, and the charter school, the private school down the block has like 2 clubs and the public has like 6, you're losing, because your child's not getting an experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, your child is not getting any experience, not socially, not skill wise. You're just tossing money at a school. You're not getting anything. Nothing different. Like, same with university. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have certain connections or networking when you went to a certain school, there's not actually any difference. Someone with that degree can go in can probably do the same job. Okay? Maybe because of the name, they'll get paid maybe 10 grand more. And that's about it. They're still going to have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning or even early like I used to do with other jobs I had and toil. Put their back into it and slave. Okay? For shit pay. There's not really much difference. The best come up with college is to have zero debt. To go through college and have no debt. But for most people, that's very hard to maintain. I tried it. It didn't work. Okay. I tried it. I tried working 3 jobs. I tried all that. And for a long time I did. And I still did. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, it's like you're only one person. Okay. You can only be a certain level of health. You only have a certain level of health if you're working back to back to back to back to back, going to late classes, driving, especially if you're university, you have to drive to your university, or you live on campus, depending upon what you choose to do. Okay, for those younger people watching me, you're beat. You're exhausted. Like you can't. So no one can tell me any different. Like, if you work 3 jobs, 2 jobs, plus a side hustle, plus college, plus this, plus that, and you want to get A's and B's, like I've done, you're beat. You're tired. You ain't got nothing left in the tank. Like, you're and forget a social life. Oh my God, forget a social life. If you're a straight A student and you work, forget it. Forget it. Like, the movies, the parties, okay, that comes, yeah. But like, if you're really focused and you have a higher mission on board, like you have a bigger goal at hand, like I did, you see what exactly. And those who didn't know, like, you're beat. And so they set it up in a way where for you to have the extra time to invest in yourself, to read a certain book, to try to network with certain people is very slim. It's so slim. And that's why I'm saying, I look back. I'm looking at the whole year. I'm recapping the year, right? I'm looking at the way our society is, the way the world is right now, right? And what we can expect for the future. And it's a miracle. It's an actual miracle that I was even able to launch this channel, because there was times I would get off work at like 12 o'clock at night, like no exaggeration. Like the store would close at 11 or 11:30, and I'd be there obviously cleaning up the store, counting the money. By 12, I'm back out. I'm up again at 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, got class at 2 o'clock, got class at 12, come back on YouTube, try to help clients, this, that. That's fucking impossible. On a consistent basis, that's very hard to do. Very hard to do. Very hard to do. And especially if you're trying to get a certain paycheck. Like, if you're working like $10 an hour, you know what I'm saying, and you want to have you need to move out, or you need to get a car, you got your insurance due, you got your car bill due, you got this due, that due, blah, blah, blah. Like, what? That is very hard to do. Very hard. And there was times where I would get up and I felt like an actual zombie. I felt like I was just carcass, dead. Really. Like, I had to quit one of the jobs because like I couldn't do it. I was just like a machine at that point. I wasn't even human. I was functioning like a goddamn machine. And I was very unhealthy, you know. I was not eating correctly. I was not sleeping correctly. And it messes up your mental. Your mental health gets beaten down, you know. And so who the hell are these people to say that, oh, if you have to work this amount of jobs to have this kind of lifestyle, you must be doing something wrong? No. You're doing something wrong. You're not seeing the reality. Like, these politicians, you're not getting it. People out here don't want to just survive, okay? They want to thrive. They want to be comfortable. That's the reality. And if a politician has a problem with that, they don't understand the world we're living in. Like, they're in a different dimension, because like people who want a better life are gonna grind for it, or they're gonna at least try. And that's worth something, you know? That counts for something, for sure. Like, people out here who've launched a business, or they've had shortcomings or whatever, like, I give they should all get props, you know? Those people who started a YouTube channel and then fell off or stopped, you know, don't ever stop, okay? Like, if you have a gift, or you have a certain kind of talent or skill or creativity or information that you feel the world needs, put it out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially financial advice, because people don't really share the bips and bops. You have to search for that crap. Okay, you gotta search for the real shit out here. They don't even tell you, you know, the basics, which is baffling to me. But anyway, so never stop. You know what I'm saying? Never give up. Never surrender. You know, no matter what the powers that be try to suppress us with and oppress us with, we cannot give up. We cannot give in, because they've already taken so many people's dreams and ripped it apart. You know, they've already destroyed so much, whether it's through engineering, planting it, whatever. The damage is already done. You know, people have actually lost their lives, have lost their loved ones. So the damage is evident, right? But now it's just about how we carry on, how we survive. And it's concerning to me, because nothing is ever going to be the same. And the way that things are moving out here, the way things are set up out here, is obscure. You know, we're living in a time that is rapidly changing, and certain qualifications and degrees and ways of living, you know, are not gonna be the same. And so people out here who have a dream, who have a talent, who don't want to die with regret, I'm begging you, I'm actually begging you to try to come out of the matrix, basically, to unplug yourself, because they're not going to do it for you. And I'm just going to put this out here because it feels so good to say this, but, you know, I always had my suspicion of college. Always. I could never explain why I didn't believe, you know, why I didn't believe in the whole system, the way it is, the way it's designed. You know, I always had my suspicion. Always. And then there was one class where I literally had to do a research paper, right? And the research paper was literally about college debt, you know? And it was literally about people who either don't graduate, or they rack up debt, you know what I'm saying? And on and on and on. And when I actually looked at the numbers, I was floored, because I didn't know that college debt was in the trillions, right? I didn't know that. I genuinely did. I genuinely did not know that. I didn't know that. I never heard anybody around me say that people were taking out certain loans, or were graduating with $40,000 in debt, or couldn't find a job. Like, I had none of that knowledge, but yet something intuitively I felt was wrong, especially in America. I can't really speak for any other country but the country I live in, obviously, because I don't know what other countries, to what extent they experience this stuff, right? But something in my inner knower something always felt off, is what I'll say about college. And I was the person, I'm still the person who wants to get an A, who wants to get a B. Like, that's me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie about that. You know, I'm still the person where I want to give it my all. You know, don't get it twisted. But it's just the way it is, the way this setup is, the system is, the cattling of it all, the scam of it all, the sham of it all. I always felt that. I could never explain, you know, why I was so turned off by it, even though I've been a great student and I've always gotten good grades, you know, not straight A's, of course, but I've gotten good grades, you know what I'm saying? Because I had other things to do, so I couldn't be in a book all day, 24/7. But, you know, I applied myself. I've always applied myself, is what I'll say. And even then, I always said, something's wrong here. You want these kids, these young adults, these kids, to work certain jobs to get by, and then come back home, do it all over again, go back out, right? Drill themselves into the ground to prove God knows what, okay? Scorpio. Well, Libra, Scorpio cusp. 23rd of October, my birthday, okay? Libra moon, okay? To prove exactly what. I'm a Scorpio, so I go deep, okay? Like, we look at the behind the scenes. The behind the scenes. So obviously for me, I'm a Libra Scorpio. I'm like the first day, so I'm like literally like Libra Scorpio cusp. But something always felt wrong to me. You know, something always felt off, you know. And then I found out about suicide rates in college, alcoholism, rape, abuse. Like, when I realized the culture, especially in America, I was like, wow, you know, this is really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Just really fucked up. So what can we expect, right? What can we expect for 2021? Well, I know what I can expect. I'll tell y'all what I know. What I can expect. I'm expecting hard work. And I believe that astrology can back this up. Somebody was talking about Jupiter being in Capricorn. I don't know if that's just for this period of time or going into next year, but some astrologer was talking about, obviously we know Saturn's in Aquarius, out of Capricorn, right? But then somebody else was talking about Capricorn being in Jupiter. So I was like, huh. And they were talking about how, oh, I remember what YouTuber it was now. And then she was talking about the energy that's around 2021 seems like it's gonna be a lot of toiling. I don't want to say hard work, I'm gonna say toil. Like, working twice as hard, okay, quadruple as hard. Like, that's the energy. And I feel that from now. Like, I feel that right now. And I'm like, shit, like, it's been hard enough, you know what I'm saying? So if you can find a way, find a way. And this may sound funny, but listen, people who win the lottery, people who take a chance on life, they are trying to keep us down. They most certainly are. Absolutely. People who've been able to, you know, win the lottery, or, you know, have a YouTube channel. Not that it's the end all be end all. I'm just saying that people out here who have taken a risk, I applaud you, and I hope that we all can continue, all of us in our own way that makes sense for our destiny, for our life individually, right? I hope that people find a way to break out of the matrix, because the matrix is completely capitulated on its head, and it's lost its mind. You know, the creators of the simulation have lost their mind, figuratively speaking. You know, they've literally lost their mind. Like, they've thrown everything into a complete loop that we've never seen before. We've never experienced before. So that's some of my frustrations. Okay, I've expressed to you all and shared with you all what I can in this limited amount of time, you know, and what I feel is going on here. And what I'm seeing going on here is a complete destruction. Oh, also, exactly. Yeah, yeah. There was something else I was reading that was talking about, what is that? Talking about how there was some huge company that's trying to get rid of supermarkets. I don't know if you all heard this, but there was something going. There's been a lot of talk about this, and I'm wondering if we're going to see more of this in 2021. There's been a lot of talk about the end of supermarkets, grocery stores, where they want to do everything like food delivered to the door. They don't want to have a situation now where you walk in and you can actually touch the fruit, touch, you know, see the everything, you know, get a vibe of the, you know, what's going on, check out the prices, you know, interact with people. I was seeing this, Amazon, of course, Amazon again, but I was seeing this talked about where they're even saying, is this the end of a supermarket? Like, what are they talking about? Like, what are they even, like, I don't know. Like, if I'm gonna order vegetables, like, I can go pick it up myself. I'm not that lazy, you know? Like, this whole thing is stupid. Like, I can go in a grocery store for 10 minutes and pick up a pair of apples. You know, it ain't that complicated. You know, humans are not inept. We're not disabled. You know, we're not, we have two hands, we have two legs. Like, we're able to walk in a store and buy what we want to buy. You know, we don't need a person or anybody else to drop off our groceries at our door. You know, we don't need that. And I just feel strange. Like, the whole thing just has a bad feeling to it, you know? So I do hope, you know, I do hope secretly that, you know, the generation behind me and behind that one can abolish a lot of this stuff, you know, like a lot of the hypocrisy and crap that we have been having to put up with for so long. Like, I really hope that they can change things, you know? I really hope that they can wake people up, because if people are not aware of the world they're living in now, then they may never be. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for everybody to tap into. Like, what I will say is, it's not for everybody to wake up. You know, not everybody's going to wake up or take it seriously, because like the Bible says, for lack of knowledge they perish, right? Like, as for lack of knowledge, you know, people perish. You know, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, lack of insight, intuition, people do perish, literally. And we're seeing it right now. You know, we're seeing it, we're literally seeing it right now. And that's my fear, is that we're on this trajectory of the wrong path. Like, there's two paths, you know, path one, path two. And it feels like we've chosen have too, right? And it's like, whether we've individually chosen it or they pressed it upon us, and we're going in the opposite direction. If that makes any sense, like we're going in the opposite direction of what we our souls hunger for, what we really want, the kind of life we want to live for all of us, not just for the small few, for all of us. Because what good is it if someone's in a castle or a mansion around a bunch of people who are struggling and low vibrational and are not healthy? Like, what good is that? Like, I could never relate to that. Like, if I was born in a situation where I was like in a multi-million-dollar house and I know the fact that people are struggling, I don't know how I would really be able to accept that without giving a lot of that wealth back away. You know? I feel like a lot of, I mean, I don't know what other people would do, but I feel like if I was in that position, I would give a lot of my wealth away, because that's just the right thing to do. But yet, people that are in that position, they just don't care. And so many people have awakened. A lot of people have begun to question a lot of things, but is it enough, right? Like, is it enough to expand upon, to look into, you know? The talk of eliminating this, eliminating that, that's not what I feel we as a collective we want. I feel like what we want is justice. What we want is equality. What we want is the ability, right? Oh, Ashton Kutcher, thank you for that comment. Ashton Kutcher seems like a good guy. So does Jim Carrey. I know Jim Carrey had a little thing, but I know Jim Carrey has been on quite a couple of Eckhart Tolle's podcasts and videos. If you guys don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, please, if you want, look him up. He wrote The Power of Now, A New Earth. Like, Eckhart Tolle was like the seed planted for me. That's where it started for me. And oh my God, like, he just speaks to me. I can't explain it. It's not like it's not like it's on a Jesus level where you idolize. It's not like that. For me, it's just with Eckhart Tolle, it's a different ball game. Like, especially when I'm feeling stressed and when I feel overwhelmed. Like to be honest with you, this morning, I felt really overwhelmed, you know? I felt so overwhelmed this morning. And I said, you know what? I want to make this video because I want to talk about what I'm experiencing, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But with Eckhart Tolle, for some reason, like, that was the beginning for me, you know? And I encourage you all, if you, what was that? I encourage you, you know, if there's certain people that, find who you do connect with, I would say. Like, if Eckhart Tolle or, other speakers like that I'm mentioning don't connect with you, like, I would encourage you to find ones that do connect, because during times like this, it's speakers like that. Exactly. I was gonna say Deepak Chopra. Exactly. Like, speakers that you connect with, right? Are so Abraham Hicks. I know people like to judge her. I don't know what it is. Let me tell you, Abraham Hicks has some gemstones. People say a lot of things about a lot of people, but let me tell you, it's how you perceive it, right? It's what you feel works for you. I'm just telling you all, if I can, you know, some people that I really have helped me. You know, if you look at my channel and you look at what I'm talking about, that's where I've grown from, is people like that. Even Oprah, to some degree, even though she's had her own little scandal going on. I don't know what's going on with her, but like her Super Soul Sunday, she had Eckhart Tolle on that. And people have, of course it's controversial, you know, there's things about certain people that are controversial. But let me tell you, let me just say this, right? It'd be an honor to meet Eckhart Tolle. It'd be an honor to ever, in the physical, ever hear that man. Because let me tell you, like, I don't know, for me, that was the beginning. And it was so funny because once I read that first book and it was like, I connected with it so deeply, along the way, I met so many other people just naturally at the gym, at especially the gym for some reason, who had these books either in their car or like just brought it up, you know, organically. And I'd be like, oh my God, you know, oh, okay. I would literally be like, oh my God, like I read the same book. And it happens to me all the time. The Secret, that also is controversial. Who cares? That book is powerful. Like that book by itself, The Secret. Bob Proctor is another good one for self-development. If you don't know about Bob Proctor, Napoleon, I believe Hill, is that how you say his name? Oh my God. Neville Goddard. I think I'm saying his name wrong. He helped me manifest this car I'm sitting in right now was due to him. Guard. I don't know how to say his last name. I apologize, guys. I'm a little tongue-tied. I've been talking for over an hour, but Neville Guard or Goddard, let me tell you, like I'm not even being funny right now. Like there's one video that I came across from Neville, Mr. Neville. I believe he spells him Neville, I believe. Okay, don't quote me on that. There was one video where it was like a 7 to 10 minute video. Just give you guys a little bit of a taste of what I'm talking about here. And I can't even explain it, y'all. I can't even like put it into words. Well, I can. I'll try my best. But I'm saying like the feeling that I felt listening to what he was teaching was out of this world. Where basically his line, they have like people in his family were business owners, and he's just a speaker. He's just like a regular inspirational speaker. He's dead now, obviously, you know, rest in peace. But like every other speaker out here, but just, you know, just look him up. You'll see he has a lot of work. He's an author as well, speaker, inspirational speaker from a different decade, a different time period. You know, infinite potential. You're spot on. Yeah. Exactly. That's who he is, right? He's an infinite potential thing. He speaks on things like that, right? And I found one video from him that was like 7 to 10 minutes long, and I kid you not, like I'm not even exaggerating. Like I'm not even exaggerating. I listened to his that video. It was on YouTube, and I believed every word he said. It resonated. It just, for me, thankfully, it clicked. Okay. It clicked. And I meditated for like 15, 20 minutes. And the car that I'm sitting in right now, I had no specific preference. But I manifested this car. I have no doubt about it in my mind. I could feel like the energy of the potential car that I was going to be sitting in. It was like a manifestation video. And the very first place that I went to look for a car, because at the time, my other car, the windows weren't working. Like the car was just like, the engine needed to be replaced. It was just a bunch of, I was gonna say malarkey, but a bunch of stuff was wrong. It was not like up to date. It was a great car, it ran great, but I needed to get another car because the things I would have to fix in the older car that I had before this car would be the same amount of money I'd put on a down payment or you know, to invest in getting a car. You know, like when you get another car, right, you don't just put the minimum, right? You could put extra money on it to bring down whatever you want to bring down in the car to pay it off quicker, right? So I have no doubt, I have no doubt in my mind that that video helped me manifest this car. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because it clicked. Not only did what he say clicked, but my belief was so out of the ordinary. And the very first place I looked for a car was this car. I was there until almost close to closing, and my mother was walking around, and she happened to look at the car first before me. And I just had a feeling, right? We always, with law of attraction, right? With law of attraction and manifestation, we always like to talk about, in the spiritual community, we always like to talk about the feeling. You know, Abraham Hicks calls it the vortex, right? The vortex, where things are just in alignment. And that is so true. Okay? Like that is as legit as it gets. And so what I did was I listened to, you can listen, and you could do this too. By the way, you could do this too, okay? You could look up any Neville or Abraham or Eckhart or Deepak, any video you want from anybody Les Brown, anybody, Bob Proctor, anybody that you feel connected to in that way, and get plugged in, get in that vortex. And let me tell you, like, the very first place I went to, I didn't have to search high or low. When I sat in the car, this car, before it wasn't even turned on, I just felt it, like this was the car. And when I drove it and I purchased it, I realized that this was the car that I was manifesting, I was meditating about. All the little quirks, like how, for example, when I press the gas pedal on this car, the ring where you see like your dashboard, it goes green. And I like the color green. And I didn't know that a car could do that. I didn't have it before. And so there were certain things about this car that I literally meditated about. And so it just came into my vortex. And of course, hard work and all that, that's a no-brainer. But the way that it happened was so seamless. And that's why I don't believe in forcing anything. And maybe somebody needs to hear that. Like, this is the reason why I don't believe in overly exerting one's self. Because if something is really meant for you, you don't have to beg, you don't have to plead, you don't have to second guess. Like, it will be just like how I got my first car. When I was in high school, college, hardly had anything. Same thing. I walked up to the car, you know what I'm saying? And I felt it. Like, I could feel it. Like, it was just a gut, like, wow, this is my car, right? So that's how it is with anything in your life that's meant for you. That's how it should feel. That's how it should feel. It should feel like, oh, wow, this is cool. And that's mostly how the best things happen. Relationships, friendships, anything. Because it's for you. It's yours. Just take it. You know what I'm saying? And so, embrace it, I meant to say. Take it. Yeah, take it. Yeah, take it by force. Yes. Claim it. You know what I'm saying? And so, after I manifested this car, because I needed a car. Like, I needed a car bad. It was either I had to replace a whole bunch of things on my old car and toss like maybe $5,000 down the drain. Like, it was a bad situation. So I had no idea. That I was going to be able to get this car, even get a car. I mean, it was like a crisis. And all I did, I'm being honest. All I did was I came across his video. I believed every word he said with all my heart. I connected to what he was saying. I felt it. Like Abraham Hicks explains, you feel that feeling. You manifest that, even though if you don't see it visually, even if you don't see it, You know, in the Bible, people like to say, oh, by faith, right? By faith. Similar, it's a similar comparison in terms of strategy. But yeah, like you don't have to see it to believe it. You don't have to see it to believe it. You just have to believe that it's yours. Okay, that's powerful shit. I just got that. I actually just got it for myself. So you don't have to believe entirely, but you do have to feel to some certainty that it is yours, that it is gonna happen. And then it does happen because you had faith in source, in God, and yourself. Like you believed that it's really gonna happen. And then it happens. You know what I'm saying? So just a little example of what I'm trying to say, like when I was down and out, you know what I'm saying, and I had to figure something out, you know, my car was done, like the car was so messed up, you know what I'm saying, and I didn't know if I could even afford it. I wasn't sure if I was able to pull it off, you know what I'm saying, what they would expect from me at the dealership. You know, I could have really of psyched myself out of a blessing. You know, I could have really convinced myself that I was not going to have a car, but I didn't believe that. I didn't listen to that negative voice. I chose to place my faith and hope in that something will come through for me. I chose to say, I feel like something's going to happen positively. Like I chose to believe that. And, you know, it may have taken the whole day, you know, walking around that car dealership, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you, when I bumped into this car and when I sat in this car, I knew it. I just knew it. And I couldn't explain. I didn't even know. Nothing about it. I didn't look it up online before I got there. I didn't even know what year, nothing. I said, you know what? This is it. I could feel it. I could feel it. And that's how it is, you know? And I also like to apply that to love, right? If I could touch upon that. I like to apply that same principle to relationships, especially. You know, you want to be in a position where you know this is for you. You know this person's meant to be in your life. You feel it. You feel it, right? It's a feeling. And feelings are not everything, right? People say, "Oh, don't listen to your heart, listen to your mind," right? Right? They always say, "Oh, don't listen to your heart. You know, listen to your mind." You know, and in certain in certain occasions, right? In certain occasions, that is the case. But most of the time, I wouldn't even say that. I would say your gut instinct. Your gut with your heart, with your mind. Your heart alerts your mind that something's about to happen. Pay attention, okay? Like they all have to be like in sync, basically, right? So that's how it felt. And that's what I believe. I believe with love, with objects, with money, with anything, you know? I do believe that it has to be authentic to you, and it has to be authentic to how you feel, you know? Like, does it feel right to you? You know? And if it doesn't feel right to you, then it's because it's not right for you. So if it doesn't feel right to you, it's because it's not for you. Something in the ethers or spiritually in a spiritual context, you know, your ancestors or your guides or your whatever you believe in, a higher source, right? Because people don't always connect with everything that people say. You know, people love to say, "Oh, you're angels," but not everybody believes in angels. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody believes in angels. So whatever works for you, right? Whatever connects with you. But that is a fundamental thing that if I could share, I've experienced, is the idea that you know, when you feel like you're, like, for example, in more layman terms, like when you feel like there's a wall, right? And your hand is just constantly hitting against this wall, you know, and you feel like no matter what you do, it's just, that's a sign to switch something up, right? That's a sign that something needs to change, okay? Like either the energy behind what you're doing or how you're feeling, like something's off. And I've realized that within I'm speaking from experience, okay? You know, I'm speaking from experience. Like if I feel like I'm hitting a wall, and no matter what I say to especially if it's a person, especially if it's a person, if I feel like I am having to overexert myself and we're not getting nowhere, no how, that's my signal that time is up. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to let you go, or it's time for me to remove myself, or it's time for me to just walk away. Because ain't nothing going on, right? Like it's the overexertion for me. It's the overexertion for me. When I feel like I have to overexert myself to get the basic respect or the basic reciprocity, something is off. Like that's how I know that something is off. And I got to either change my perspective or I got to change how I see the person. And I'm going to get personal, like with my twin flame. Same shit. And I told y'all, I don't care about the titles. I told you guys this. I don't care about no titles. Like if I am dealing with especially in a romantic sense, and I ain't getting through your thick skull, you can forget it. You can forget it. Because at that exact point, I am putting myself on the line. I am wasting my time. And even if there's a connection or there's love, whatever we think is there, it's not manifesting in the 3D. Okay? And that's why some twin flames get frustrated, because they are trying so hard, right, to manifest this in the 3D. And no matter how hard they try, it's not happening. And why is it not happening? It's not happening because that person's not ready, or that person's not awake, or that person doesn't even know you exist. Let's just keep it real. You know, they're not on your same wavelength. They're not feeling the vibe. Because if they felt the vibe, they'd be there. They like if they would be there. They would be there. I'm telling you, they would call you up. They would want to see you. And so, like a personal example, when I caught wind of a karmic or whatever's going on, deuces, what the hell I look like? Wasting my time. Like, no, there's more that came from, you know, whether you had a falling out with a friend or a job or a lover, there's more where that came from. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's more where that came from. They're not the only person on the planet who wants to love you, who wants to make love to you, who wants to get to know you. There's people out here by the thousands who would love to be with you. So that's my mentality. You know, secretly, you know, I do love readings, all that, but this is my mentality in real life. Like if I'm dealing with a person and I feel like, especially romantic, like if I'm not getting through to him, like I'm not going to waste my time. Like if I feel the grace from God to continue and try, that's one thing. If God is giving me the grace to forgive you and to work upon it, that's one thing. But what I'm not gonna do is baby or coerce or beg someone to get it right. Either you get it right or you get lost. When it comes to relationships, either you're gonna be on point, on square with me, and we're gonna work it out, or we're not. I'm not going to waste my time. I can't. So that's how it's gotta be, you know? This is how I'm telling you. Like, it's facts too, you know what I'm saying? Like, if something's not working, it's not working. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I've had no shame when I have shared my whole twin flame situation, you know. This is why, this is why I've been able to share it when I've been able to share it, because it's the truth. It is just the truth of the matter. I don't care what title or what kind of connection it is. I've had beautiful soulmate connections, and I've met my twin, and they're totally different, completely different. But I'm not going to train someone how to treat me. I'm not going to train someone how to treat me. That's what I'm not going to do. And a lot of us have been victims of this, or we've experienced this, and that's okay, because we grow, we learn, right? We learn with age, with experience. We learn this. That's fine. That's fine. Especially if you love someone with all your heart and soul. It is hard to break out of that. It's hard to say, oh, I'm gonna leave this. It's very hard to do. But when you've had enough, and you don't want someone to keep playing games with you, and you have somewhere to be, you got someplace to go, that time is up. It's over. It's done at that point. Sorry, I'm fixing my lips because my lips are dry. I had to put on some lip gloss because my lips are dry, And so that's what I stand by. Going to 2021, that's what I stand by. I'm not gonna train someone how to treat me, okay? Either they're gonna tighten up and be worth my time, and we're gonna make it work through thick and thin, or we're not. Especially if we're not even married. Like, if we're not even married, and I am over here fighting with you, and like, why? For what? There's more that came from. If you're watching me and you lost a job, or you lost someone you love, or you had to walk away from someone, and you can't understand why, I'm here to tell you, honey, that person wasn't meant for you. They were meant for a season in your life. They were not meant for a lifetime, unfortunately, okay? They were meant for a season, and that's okay. And most people are like that. Most things in life are a season. That's why we have the seasons all year round, right? They're a season, okay? And the quicker that we understand this, and we jump on board with this idea, and the way life is, this is how life is, right? Like, for example, when you have a child, right? Your child is not a toddler forever, right? At some point, that toddler is gonna be a grown ass man or woman. Okay, so it's same thing. You could see them in one way, but at some point, either we're gonna grow together or we're not. We're gonna stick it out or we're not. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's how with my whole twin flame thing, like, I'm okay with that. If he has to grow without me, and fall and get back up, and fall and get back up, and marry somebody else, I'm okay with that. Like real talk. And I have to marry somebody, I'm okay with that, because at that point, my job is done. My job is done. You've served your purpose in my life. I've served a purpose in your life, and we can part ways respectfully. We don't need all that drama and all that gossip. We don't need all that. What we need is respect, right? And those are the best kind of departures. It's when there's respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, some couples go for the jugular, especially divorced couples, like all that drama. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? For what? Like, it's over. like it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're, YouTube is YouTube, right? There's so many different channels on YouTube, and isn't it crazy? I'm just putting this out here. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, when there's like a celebrity couple, or whatever, and like the gossip sites say, oh my God, like it's over. Who cares? Like, there's no point in them going back and forth on social media, deleting pictures and saying, look at, and gossip, and taking each other's exes, and like, it don't make no sense to me. Like, if it's over, it's over. Like, go in peace, it's fine. Like, I don't, like, there's no point. There's no point. Like, I will never catch myself ever again, like, slipping in that way. Like, there has to be boundaries. Like, 2021, ooh, boundaries is a big thing for 2021, I feel like. Gotta have those boundaries. Gotta have those boundaries. So, on that note, you all, I feel like I've said a mouthful, more than a mouthful, passing over an hour, and I felt like this video had to be uploaded for sure. Like, this video had to go out into the world. I know it. Like, I'm very happy that I took a chance to get out of bed earlier than usual before work and all this stuff and come on here and talk with you all. And I had to. Thank you all so much for the support. I had to, because I felt the need to, and that's how I roll. You know, that's how I am on and off camera. Like, I like to just keep it $100, and I like to just go with the flow. And when I feel divinely inspired and led, and I feel like it's the right time, right place, right everything, then I feel good. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I want it to be for you as well. You know, I may not know you personally, but I hope that that's how you feel in your life. You know, like, things are the way it's supposed to be. And this year, you know, this year was a gut punch to the stomach for a lot, and the heart for a lot of us. But we're gonna be better. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be a lot better in 2021. Even if it's hard, even if it's tough, I feel like we will be okay, because we know better. We're gonna do better, and we are aware of the tricks. We're aware of what's going on out here, you know, and we're aware of it. They don't care about us, you know. Real talk, you know. If a government can be okay with giving $600 over a span of over 8 months, then that tells you all you need to know, okay, about the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about us. They don't care about us. We have to care about each other and ourselves, because they're not going to tell us the truth. You know, they're going to keep us in this rat race of drama, social, you know, they're not going to let us off that unless we take ourselves off of it. So I love you all so much. You know, I really, really do. And I hope you all go in peace. Have a great day. Feel inspired, feel energized. And I will see you on my next video, okay? Bye.